Hey everybody, welcome to Victims and Villains. We are your Marvel correspondents. I'm Alan.
I'm Josh. What's up, man?
Not much, man. I really like what you have going on with the J.J. Abrams lens flare on your webcam right now. It's pretty cool.
No. Is it really bad?
It's not really bad. It's kind of cool.
I don't want to get copywritten with the lens flare.
He can't. We're talking Marvel. It's not like anyone from Star Trek's gonna see this. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. It's a Monday, so as good as you can be on a Monday. I'm in crunch mode, getting things ready for New York, and I'm freaking out about that. But otherwise, doing well.
I know you're excited to see me, but you don't need to freak out about that.
I know. I really am. I really am excited.
Just in case you're listening or watching and want to know what we're talking about, Josh and I will be at New York Comic Con. So you can stop by our booth and stop by his booth and come say hi to us.
Yeah, 1937 is the booth. Booth 1937.
So yeah, there's a lot of Marvel stuff that we're going to talk about. We're just going to get caught up because it's been a while since there's been a Marvel movie. D23 was this weekend. There's a lot of things, Marvel news to get to. But before that, I figured we talk a little bit about the big Marvel show that the internet is talking about, and that's She-Hulk. We're 4 episodes in, so about halfway through the show's first season. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking of She-Hulk so far?
I think for me, it's the odd episodes are good, and the even episodes are not as good. I really liked the first episode. Thought that was great. I had heard that the show was going to be not 40-minute episodes or 45-minute episodes. I think they've been anywhere between 20 and 28 minutes so far. But the first episode I really, really liked. I liked the interaction between her and the Hulk. I understood that it was a TV show, so they had to get right into it. So literally a drop of blood, and she's all of a sudden the Hulk. But I did really appreciate it, and I loved the Ally McBeal-esque tone of it all. I love that show growing up, and I love law shows in general. Like, I just binged all of Suits. All the important seasons of Suits. I love law stuff. So
okay, I
dig that. And then the third episode was the Abomination episode, court episode, and I thought that was really great. Megan the Stallion and everything. I thought it was good. I'm not saying the other episodes are shit. I just think they're less good.
Yeah, like everyone seemed. I seem to have the opposite reaction to some of the internet to the show. Like, I was okay with She-Hulk twerking. I didn't really care for Madison with a Y, but not where you think it would be.
I was annoyed. I was annoyed by her.
I mean,
I was annoyed by everything in episode 4 for some reason. I don't know why.
Not Wong. Please tell me you weren't annoyed by Wong.
I was annoyed that Wong thought he needed She-Hulk. Like, when he was like, She-Hulk, I need you. I'm like, of all the people you could call, you called her to just grab him out of the air. Like, the Sorcerer Supreme couldn't handle that on his own.
I mean, he paid that retainer, so I'm sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so we'll deep dive into She-Hulk once the show ends here in probably about another month or so.
Which is fine if we want to speculate, but I have avoided trailers. I know they dropped a mid-season trailer for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I felt like the least I know about it, the more likely I'll enjoy it. So I don't even know if there's like a teaser at the end for the next week of She-Hulk, but they're so short that I don't want to know. So
okay,
I usually watch them as soon as they drop, and I don't know anything about them, and that has kind of helped me enjoy them more.
Have you been watching the post-credit scenes though?
I've been watching the post-credits.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah, I saw they dropped the trailer too. I've avoided it because I saw everything I saw from the original trailers. I've pretty much seen in the show, except for something that's cut. Yeah, except for Mr. Murdoch, attorney at law. But I'm looking forward to him. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. But actually, we can talk about him a little bit now because I saw a thing that came into theaters that had a little bit more Matt Murdock, and that's Spider-Man No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff edition.
Yeah, that's great.
I went to see this. They added 11 minutes into the film, 9 of which I enjoyed. But
I'm pretty sure I've seen all those 11 minutes on clipped out versions on YouTube and Twitter. I've seen a lot of the clips.
Probably.
Unless I've missed something, but yeah, how was it?
Overall, I think it's a better sequel to Homecoming and No Way or Far From Home, because it ties back into the high school stuff a little bit more in that first act. So you get to see him interacting with his teachers and classmates in class. There's more of the high school stuff, part of which like I didn't need. Like there's a whole montage of Betty Brant interviewing teachers and students and Peter, and that seemed a little bit repetitive for me, and I that took me out of it. But everything else that they added into this movie or extended, I enjoyed, and I didn't think it really took away from anything.
Was it all extensions? Because I heard that they did take some things out and just replace them with some alternate stuff. Was there anything that you were like, oh yeah, they took that out of this cut?
There's a scene with Matt Murdock and Happy Hogan when Peter is taking all of the villains to Happy's loft, like Happy's apartment. And it makes a lot more sense seeing it in this version. Like when the camera goes to like the security camera for no reason, and then you see the guys walk in, that's Happy watching it on his phone while he's in a meeting with his lawyer and damage control. So, and then like, so you get a little bit more Matt Murdock. You understand why Happy's freaking out about these guys coming into his house. And more Jon Favreau is never a bad thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, but was there anything in the theatrical cut that was removed from this new cut that you saw?
There was one bit of music that changed. Because there's like a Michael Giacchino like guitar thing that felt weird when Ned and MJ come to the sanctum and are getting set up to help Peter. Like there's a weird guitar thing. They extend that scene and replace the music with Monster Mash, which is also a weird choice, but it worked for me.
But it's more fun.
Yeah. It worked for me. I saw this at a drive-in, so it was kind of dark to see. Like if I didn't know what was going on in parts, I would have been very confused, but having seen the movie before,
sure,
I understood what was happening. Plus that drive-in is where I saw the first two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So it was like it felt like I was home watching it there. Like when the movie came out in December, I was like, I wish I could see this at the drive-ins. I got my chance. So
there you go. Nice.
Overall, I recommend the More Fun Stuff edition. It doesn't change the canon of the MCU. It's more. It is just more fun stuff. And when it comes out on Blu-ray, I will be buying it. So
I'll stream it when it comes out.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Yeah, I might be on Netflix before that because I know Morbius is on Netflix now.
Oh right.
So
yeah, I told my wife that. I'm like, I know you really wanted to see this, so it's on. And she's like, what? No, I didn't want to see it then, and I don't want to see it now. Like,
I wish I actually might be doing a watch party with that at some point, so that'd be fun. So all right, so yeah, that's some of the Marvel news of stuff that we have seen. Let's talk about some things that we haven't seen. So this past weekend was the D23 Expo in Anaheim, and Marvel Studios announced a lot of stuff. But before we get into all of the Kevin Feige announcements, I want to talk about a few things that were just announced that are Marvel related and I think are fun to talk about. The first of which is a new Black Panther Captain America game coming from Skydance New Media. This is going to take place during World War II with rookie Steve Rogers and the grandfather of T'Challa, King Azuri, as the Black Panther, fighting Hydra and Nazis. Have you seen anything about this?
I have not. I'm looking it up. I'm playing the I'm playing the little trailer for it right now. So, does Skydance do a lot of games? Like I know them from movies, but
I think they're branching off into this. They announced the project last October, and they're also working on a Star Wars game. So I think they're branching out into this. I think it's Skydance New Media. Part of what gets me excited for this is one of the writers on the game is Kevin Smith's co-host from Fat Man Beyond, Mark Bernardin, and he's been teasing a secret project he's been working on for one of the big studios, and this is apparently it, or at least one of them. And from listening to him on that show for years, I really respect him as a writer. So I'm really interested to see what he brings to this game, story-wise.
yeah, I'm watching the trailer. The trailer looks pretty cool. I have heard him tease that over time.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to that podcast a lot, and I it's one of my goals is to go and like try to catch a live show sometime. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I wish that they would do it at New York Comic-Con. Like,
right.
But
well, now you have that. You have an even better option now that he owns that theater.
oh yeah,
I mean, I know it's not in your neck of the woods, but you're closer to it than I am.
I've got family in Jersey. I'll just crash on their couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
so this is the thing he's been teasing. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting. I don't play a lot of Marvel games. I know, like this Midnight Suns thing is something they've been pushing for a long time, and they've had a lot of other Marvel games, and they all look cool. But I end up just like watching some of the cutscenes on YouTube.
Yeah.
But if it's good and Skydance, that's just the most interesting part about it is that it's from them. So interesting.
Yeah. I know you've
Although I am playing Spider-Man.
I was gonna say
I'm not done with it. This is like the worst month for me to play a game because I'm busy. But it is interesting that it's on my computer, so I can just like literally grab the remote and be like, let's play a little bit. So
yeah.
I am really enjoying it. It's a good game.
It pleases me to know that you are playing it with a controller. So I was worried that you were there with a mouse and keyboard playing that game. I was like, I don't know how that would work. Weirdo. Yeah. And I've been playing the Avengers game that came out a few years ago here and there. Like whenever I see they released a new character like Black Panther or Spider-Man, I'll go in and play the third to last new character they released because I want to play it in order so I know the story. So I'll eventually get around to playing all of that, but I'm still like on the first update. So yeah, that's one project outside the MCU that was announced. There's some other Marvel adjacent stuff. There was a live performance of Rogers the Musical. That number from Hawkeye they did live at D23 for the audience, which there's not much news there. I just thought it was funny.
Sure.
Because you can tell that they're absolutely just lip syncing the whole thing. So, but like, that's a cool thing to see when you're at D23. So I thought it was worth mentioning here. The other thing they announced was a few Disney Parks things. They announced that the Hulk is going to be a meet and greet character. They built like a Hulk suit with hands that articulate, and his face is covered by the quantum suit mask because they don't want to make him talk, I guess.
Interesting.
So that's an interesting thing that came out of it. And then they also announced, I didn't pull a picture for this. They also announced a new ride that's going to play into the multiverse, and you're going to help the Avengers from all different universes fight a King Thanos, who is a Thanos from a universe where he won. And it teases Captain America, Captain Carter, America Chavez, like everyone's pretty much coming into this. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out at Avengers Campus, if I ever get to go to Avengers Campus.
Yeah, I saw the picture. He's got like a gray beard. I mean, technically, the main universe was the universe that he won, and he didn't become a king. He became a farmer and destroyed the things. So I think it's a little more than just if he won, but that's an interesting storyline, and the image is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to add it in post. But yeah, so I think that's everything Marvel MCU adjacent. Let's get into the Marvel stuff in release order, is I think how I have it. So first off is they announced Kevin Feige announced the special presentation of Werewolf by Night, which I think is one of the things that I am most excited about out of D23. I'm bummed about the release date though. So Werewolf by Night is a special presentation being released October 7th, directed by Michael Giacchino, which is one of my favorite film composers working today. He's stepping behind the camera and directing this special led by Gael Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly. What do you know about Werewolf by Night?
In terms of like the property, or
yeah,
something? I mean, I know nothing. I saw this trailer. I was uber intrigued by it. I mean, I think there was this like a very flash, like a 1 second or half a second flash of like man thing in there. But otherwise, I am so outside of the lore on this thing.
Yeah.
I thought it looked interesting, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
educate me.
I don't know much either. Based in Marvel comic lore, Jack Russell on his 18th birthday learned of his family's werewolf curse, which dates back to 1795, and every full moon transforms him into a powerful man-wolf hybrid possessing the enhanced strength, speed, stamina, and agility and reflexes. So it's pretty much just Marvel's werewolf. In the comics, he has worked with Dr. Michael Morbius, Johnny Blaze, who's Ghost Rider, Stephen Strange, Tony Stark, Jessica Drew, Mark Spector. So he's got a lot of ties to Marvel stuff. They tie it into Man-Thing for this trailer. The TVA's in the trailer. I'm just excited to see what they're going to do with this special presentation. Because I think this is probably how they're going to ticket the Guardians special around the holidays. So I'm excited to see what they're like. From a production standpoint, I'm excited to see what Michael Giacchino does as a director. But I'm intrigued by the whole concept of a short film from Marvel that isn't a one shot.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see like what all is in it. I could have sworn, I'm trying to find it now, I could have sworn I heard a rumor that it wasn't initially as short of a film as it is going to end up being, that they cut it down a lot. But I can't seem to find where I read that. So that could be a rumor or not. But I'm interested. It was certainly something different. It was definitely one of the very few things that was announced for the first time at this D23. I think, before we get too deep into it, a lot of us came out of San Diego Comic-Con's panel thinking, oh, there was a lot of blank spaces up on that screen. I assume they are waiting until D23 so that they can have an equally entertaining panel at D23. And there wasn't a lot of new announcements. There were updates on things that were announced last year. But this one was something that if it was previously talked about, I had no idea about it, and it looks interesting. So I guess that's a testament to the brand that Marvel has developed, that they can just come out with something this different and this disconnected and this just kind of out there, and people be like, hell yeah, it's Marvel, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think this was a known secret from them because of the Giacchino directing. They just hadn't publicly said this is when it's coming out.
Okay.
So it's funny to me that they waited until less than a month ahead of time to announce it, but it's spooky. It's spooky season, so it makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's the next thing coming from Marvel Studios. The week of New York Comic Con. So who knows? Maybe there's a premiere in New York City for this that we can sneak our way into, or have Captain Nostalgia himself reach out through his press connections and get us passes.
There you go.
Wishful thinking. I'm just gonna will that into existence. We're gonna be at the premiere for Werewolf by Night.
Do it.
All right. Next on the docket is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which there wasn't really much new announced here. The cast came out with Ryan Coogler. I think the biggest thing for Black Panther at D23 was Chadwick Boseman becoming a Disney legend in that ceremony there. That wasn't. I'm looking over the press release here. There wasn't really much news out of the.
They showed a scene that hasn't been released.
Mm-hmm.
Revealing that the international community is after the country's supply of vibranium in the wake of King T'Challa's death. Dora Milaje aren't going to let it go easily. Okay, so that's a little bit into the plot of the film that we didn't necessarily get from the trailer.
Yeah. And there's been some speculation there about that storyline, because in the comics, that's the storyline where Shuri becomes the Black Panther. So we'll see what happens.
And there's been some pictures of toys that seem to suggest that Shuri is the Black Panther. I wouldn't be surprised if she is. I would be more surprised if she is permanently. I believe there's a theory out there that she might be for part of the film, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, and then after that is Marvel's Secret Invasion, which we actually got a trailer for.
Yeah.
And they brought out on stage for
logo for it.
Yeah, they updated the logo for it. The image of Nick Fury with the white background's been everywhere, so that's what I pulled. And they brought out Don Cheadle, of all people, to talk about this a bit. What did you think of the trailer?
I really liked it. I really liked the trailer. This is something that I've been interested in for a while, ever since Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel definitely gave us a different side of the Skrulls than we've seen in the comics, and Secret Invasion being so much about the Skrulls. Ever since Captain Marvel, I'm like, man, if they do Secret Invasion, how are they going to do it? And I guess this kind of seems to hint that maybe there's a faction of Skrulls, or maybe the majority of Skrulls are doing one thing, and they're just the faction of Skrulls that we've met. Fury's been hanging out with are like the few good ones. I don't know, but It definitely looks interesting. It looks more spy-esque. It definitely gives me like Winter Soldier vibes, and I'm here for it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a Marvel property that isn't about superheroes. This is like no one in this is really going to have powers except for the Skrulls. It's going to be a Nick Fury, a Maria Hill, and maybe some Rhodey. But
if you or someone you know is listening to this podcast right now and you're struggling with suicide, addiction, self-harm, or depression, we encourage you guys to please reach out. This is the heartbeat of why we do what we do. Suicide is currently the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and as of this recording, there are 132 suicides that take place each and every day on American soil. And when you scale back internationally, there are 800,000 successful suicides. That is one death roughly every 40 seconds. So if you or someone you know is struggling, you guys can go to victimsandvillains.net/hope. That resource is going to be right in the description wherever you guys are currently listening or streaming this. There you'll find resources that include the National Suicide Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255. You can also text HELP to 741-741. We also have a plethora of other resources, including churches, getting connected with counselors, LGBT resources like the Trevor Project, and also veteran hotline as well. Please, if you hear nothing else in the show, understand that you listening to this right now, have value and worth. We get it. Suicide, depression, mental health, these are hard topics, and the stigma around them doesn't make it any easier. But please consider the resources right in the descriptions below, wherever you guys are listening, because once again, you have value and you have worth. So please stay with us.
It's definitely a choice to see them center on Fury, versus a superpowered character, and I do like that that he's getting more of the spotlight. So yeah. it is cool.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Khaleesi in there, and we've got what's her name from The Crown,
Olivia Colman.
We've got some significant.
You got two queens in there.
Actors.
Yeah.
That's right, two queens. That's true. Good call. What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. Like I'm excited for it. Like I like the grounded tone of it. For one of the, it's nice that the Marvel shows on Disney Plus all seem to be something different. Like you start off with WandaVision, which is like a play off of sitcoms, and then you have like Moon Knight, which is like just a standard Marvel story, and then you have She-Hulk, which is like another sitcom type thing. This just seems like the spy thriller that Winter Soldier was, but with aliens. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they do with the Skrulls. I'm excited to see what other cameos we get in this, because I don't think it's just going to be Rhodey. I think there's going to be some other people that pop in here and there.
I would think so. I just, it has so much potential. It has like think spy thriller in the body of this or the Invasion of the Body Snatchers type universe, or I mean there's a lot of things there's a lot of ways that they could do this, and I think the trailer gives me some good vibes. And anytime I see more Don Cheadle, I'm happy. I'm still waiting for them to officially remind us that Armor Wars is still coming. They haven't talked about that in a couple of years, but they haven't. I mean, they didn't bring that up at all in the panel at San Diego Comic-Con. I remember Feige bringing it up. They
did bring it up here. I don't have it pulled. Yeah, they did bring it up. I think that's part of the reason they had Don Cheadle out. And I forgot to pull it. I heard that they announced that it's going to tie into Secret Invasion with his character. So, and they're billing Secret Invasion as a crossover event series. So I think that means they're going to have a lot of characters crossover. I think I saw Martin Freeman in the trailer. Did you see him?
I did see him.
Okay. Yeah. So I think there's going to be some.
Your guy fell down.
Oh no. He got tired of watching.
I guess so. And Martin Freeman is going to be a Black Panther too, so it's good to see him sprouting his wings and being in other properties as well. So, not other properties, other movies. So, I like him a lot. I like him when they throw him in, and I'm interested to see. I've heard a lot of theories about who Khaleesi is. I've heard people have a lot of theories. I've tried to avoid them because I don't want to know what her character is. But she looks like a badass, and it's not a Terminator movie, so I feel like she has a better chance of succeeding in this film or in this show. So, it's good.
All right, and then following Secret Invasion, they did a little bit for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but nothing much. No real news there, but there was some news from the Marvels event. They showed a scene, I believe. They had the cast come out, so you had Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Teyonah Parris come out, as and present the film, and they got to see the edited footage for their movie for the first time there. So there's like a video online of them all like giddy and excited that they got to see some of it. But the big news that came out of this was Brie Larson was in an interview after the panel, and somebody asked her if she was going to be coming back after this film as Carol Danvers, and she looked at the guy deadpan and said, "I don't know. Does anyone want me to come back?" So
yeah, it was a Variety interview, and I mean, she looked like she was already tired and annoyed by the day. Like something had to have happened, because she was definitely tense, and I know it's not just that. I'm sure it's like it's a daily thing where people shit on her on the internet for this, and just looking at the comments under like different posts of that video, it was like 50-50. Like, you know, I totally get it, and well, that bitch deserves to go. You know, so I totally get why she felt that way, but yeah, she was not hiding that at all. She was clearly like done with the conversation, and didn't feel like putting on the mask of, well, I hope so, because I love the character.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So
I hope that we see more of her, because we haven't really seen much of her character. Because for most of Captain Marvel, she has amnesia and isn't herself. So I'm excited to see how she interacts with Kamala and Monica Rambeau.
Well, and then the next time we saw her was in Endgame, and they clearly didn't know what to do with her, so they sent her off on a mission that they never talked about again. I mean, unless it's part of the Marvels movie. I was watching like a breakdown on Endgame, and I was like, oh, how did I miss this? But there was like this whole thing. There's earthquakes all across the world, and there's earthquakes on other worlds, and she's like, I'm going to go check this out. And then we don't see her through the rest of the film until she shows up at the end to help out with the battle. So that whole earthquake thing is either like a really soft lead-in for her upcoming film, or they just dropped that and they just needed a reason to get her off planet and off screen for a while. But I imagine with the right writers, she could do fine. She could do fine. It's not her. It's not her.
Yeah.
I'm hoping her character gets some redeeming writing in this new movie, because she deserves it, and she certainly doesn't deserve the flack she keeps getting. That's not me simping for her. That's just me admiring her previous work and knowing that the writing in Captain Marvel wasn't on par.
Yeah.
So,
so I hope to see more of her. I'm excited for the Marvels. It comes out July 28th, 2023. After that, we had a presentation on Echo, the Disney Plus series starring Aquila Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, among others.
Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox.
Yeah. I'm reading the article here. They have Cox quoted. I was like, wait, Charlie Cox wasn't part of this panel. Part of what I wanted to talk about with this panel was after they talked about Echo, Vincent D'Onofrio just stayed on the stage, and Kevin Feige's like, what's going on, man? Like, he's like, oh, are we going to talk about my show? and then Charlie Cox came out and was like, you mean our show? And then like the crowd went wild, like just Vincent D'Onofrio, like just being Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's great.
Was a lot of fun. I'm excited for Echo. I'm excited to see them flesh out Kingpin in the MCU now. Like now that Kevin Feige's in charge of the character, I'm excited to see where he goes from Hawkeye into this show.
Yeah, well, Echo could be very beneficial for that. Charlie Cox was recently in an interview where they asked him, I'm sure for the billionth time, is Daredevil Born Again technically season 4? And his answer was no, it's season 1. It's new, and it's if you're gonna start something again, start new. So he is pushing the narrative that it's 100% brand new, and I think time will tell if that's true or if things will bleed over in terms of casting and themes from the original. But if that's the case and they really are pushing for brand new, just with some familiar faces, then Echo could be very beneficial to the character of Fisk and showing kind of the origin in the MCU that they want to have for him versus the origin that we know. So yeah, I'll be interested in that.
I have heard that with Charlie Cox's appearance on She-Hulk, we will know whether or not the former Netflix shows are canon or not. So we might have our answer beforehand. But yeah, I'm excited for Echo. Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
No, I'm excited for that. I am. So
all right.
I think at one point I had suggested to you that Echo was a fake show.
Yeah.
So it's not a fake show. So I am intrigued.
I mean, I think the impression was it was a fake show just to cover up that there's a Daredevil show.
Yeah.
So
now it's not. So we'll see how good it is, and if it's more of a lead-in, or if Echo is can hold their own. And I did like the character, so as long as it doesn't feel as like a rushed, sloppy ending as Hawkeye was, I'll be interested in the show. So yeah.
And then the one show from Marvel that gets a season 2, or I guess the first one to get a season 2, Loki Season 2 had a presentation with Tom Hiddleston, Sophia DiMartino, and Owen Wilson coming out. Not much news here, but they did announce a new cast member, Ki-Hu Kwan, who was just in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I know as Short Round. And they didn't really talk much about Loki Season 2 too much. There wasn't really much news there. But the best thing to come out of this panel was the fact that Short Round and Indiana Jones met up backstage and posed for a picture, which was the highlight of my weekend, just seeing them together. I'm sure Harrison Ford's stoned out of his mind and doesn't know what's going on. But it was nice to see them reunited.
Yeah, that was a cool picture, and that is neat that he's joining the cast. I admittedly was not the biggest fan of Everything Everywhere at Once, but I did like him in it. So I am interested to see how Loki Season 2 will hit, if it'll feel like its own thing, if it'll feel like it's building up to something that we've been waiting for it to build up to, that it has the most potential to build up to. But it definitely left us on a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, DiMartino said that she saw Jonathan Majors backstage and quipped on when they got outside, "I thought I killed that guy." So yeah, I'm excited for it. Not much to go off of from the panel, but yeah, it was worth it just for that photo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we have Ironheart. Nothing much came out of this. They did announce Anthony Ramos from Hamilton and In the Heights will be playing the character The Hood, who will be the main villain of the show, who I don't know much about.
For a while.
Yeah. I think it was rumored, but it was confirmed now. So, yeah, nothing else there. I didn't realize that Ryan Coogler was producing this. So I'm excited to see his involvement. It makes a lot more sense with her being in Wakanda Forever that he's on board for the show too. So,
right.
We learned a little bit more about Daredevil, Born Again. They start production next year.
Has not started shooting.
Yeah,
so
that's the big thing. I think because they were just working on Echo. So
right.
Yeah, nothing too new there. There was some news, however, out of Captain America: New World Order, this is one of the two projects I think got a little bit shortchanged at Comic-Con, because they announced it, but they didn't go into details about much. So we have Anthony Mackie back as Sam Wilson, and Carl Lumbly returning as Isaiah Bradley, the original Captain America or the second Captain America we met in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Danny Ramirez is returning as the new Falcon. And the news that caught me completely off guard, Tim Blake Nelson coming back as Dr. Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader from The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I mean, I didn't think we were going to get anything else from that movie except for the Abomination and She-Hulk.
I mean, they just keep on pulling more things from it. So now that we have the Abomination back on the scene, I don't see why not. Although I'll be interested to see what he looks like, because they've definitely redesigned the Abomination. So I wonder what Tim Blake will look like now. I mean, I guess we didn't really get a full picture of him. We just got the
swelling,
oozing, bubbly, swelly head. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. And then what have you been up to all this time as the leader and all that?
He said in the panel, "We teased the leader, and 14 short years later, promises fulfilled."
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. It makes me think that Marvel's about to get the rights back to Hulk, because I think the contract is up here soon with Universal, that since Universal hasn't done anything with him, that they are getting the rights back to all of those characters. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
They're definitely building, aren't they? They're building and building and building, and so it's exciting.
Yeah, they're getting
I don't like the name of Captain America New World Order. It's not, I mean, I don't know if that's based on forgive me if that's based on an actual storyline. I'm not a huge fan of the name. I do really want to see more of Sam Wilson as Captain America, more of just the things that he faces, and just more evolution to his character, because I really, really did like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and that whole show.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what, the next step for that character.
Yeah. I don't think this is the title that's going to stick. I think this is going to be like Captain America Serpent Society.
That's what I'm hoping.
So we'll see what happens with that, because this is still a little bit out. So, But speaking of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the other sequel to that was also dived into details wise, and that was the Thunderbolts, which had some surprises for me in the cast. I'm not going to lie. They announced the cast of the team of the Thunderbolts. You've got Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina De Fontaine, which we kind of knew. Elena Belova, so Florence Pugh is coming back and not working with Olivia Wilde again. John Walker as U.S. Agent coming back, so Wyatt Russell was returning. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then the two that surprised me for this lineup, Sebastian Stan returning as Bucky Barnes, and David Harbour returning as Red Guardian.
Right. Yeah. What do you think about that lineup?
I really did not expect to see Red Guardian again in the MCU. I'm excited. I'm excited to see, this is going to be a sequel to so many different stories. You've got a lot of Black Widow in here, but you also have the dynamic between U.S. Agent and Winter Soldier. You have Ghost there from Ant-Man and the Wasp. So you could potentially bring in Lawrence Fishburne again. I think that Zemo is going to end up being the villain in this that they have to fight, but I'm really excited about this lineup. I like this a lot more than some of the other rosters I was seeing online.
So I know Zemo is going to be a part of it, and a lot of people have even noticed that on Disney's website, the official URL for the announcement had Zemo in the URL, even though he's not in the picture. I can't imagine him being the villain. I think that while I enjoyed Civil War, he was the villain in that, but a lot of people didn't walk away with, oh my God, Zemo was just so crazy. As it was more the drama that he ensued, not that he was some mastermind villain. And then in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, he was there, but he was more like soft, and he was dancing, and he put on his face mask for 5 seconds so they could use it in the trailer, and then he took it back off. And then him and Winter Soldier kind of like not really shook hands, but kind of shook hands at the end, and then moved on. And the work they would have to do to make him a villain, like a full-fledged villain that these people would have to go up against, I think is a lot more work than him just helping them out.
Yeah.
Somehow. So I can imagine him helping them out. But as far as the lineup, I think it's interesting that with the exception of Ghost, they're all kind of the same. Like we got Red Guardian, super strong man. We got U.S. Agent, super strong man. We got Taskmaster,
who I forgot to mention.
Yeah,
my bad.
mimics everybody and can be. Well, I guess Taskmaster isn't super strong, but mimics. And then Black Widow. So Black Widow and Taskmaster kind of similar. Winter Soldier being in there, another super strong man. It is weird that he's in that lineup. But yeah, I was thinking that the Thunderbolts would have a little more variety to them. I mean, they definitely have variety in personalities, but their power sets, there's like a couple oddballs, and the rest are just kind of the same. But I imagine it'll be less about their power sets and more about their personality flashes.
Yeah. And I think getting 3 people with super strength in here that are going to have conflicting personalities, like Bucky and U.S. Agent already don't like each other. So there's going to be some infighting going on here. So,
but why would Bucky be there? I don't get that.
I don't either. I'm very curious to see the story of this, because looking at this lineup, I want to know what brings this group of people together. And
also, is Black Widow still cool with working for Valentina after she kind of manipulated her into going after Hawkeye? Is that still a thing?
I guess. I'm wondering if maybe her father has something to do with it. I'm excited to see them together again, because for all we know, he wasn't snapped. So seeing them reconnect will be interesting. And maybe we'll actually get some personality from Taskmaster, because we didn't really get that in Black Widow, because she was being brain controlled. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. I'm glad it's not a Disney Plus show. I'm excited it's a movie.
I totally missed that. It's a movie. Interesting. Yeah. I totally missed that part of it. I could have swore it was a show. So it's a movie hitting theaters July 26, 2024. Okay. Well, you know what it's going to be compared to. It's going to be is it going to fail as bad as Suicide Squad did? This Suicide Squad was better, but
yeah.
It's going to be heavily compared to that, and I'm sure it'll be better. But
the
interested to see
the big thing it has going for it is it does not have Jared Leto's Joker. So
yet, we don't know.
If
Morbius could be a part of this.
Oh man,
Jared Leto could be.
That
maybe he's the secret part of the lineup.
And they all have super strength, so they just beat him up.
Can you imagine?
Beat him to a pulp.
It's coming. It's coming.
And they don't actually get him on set. They just use the rest of the scene that they cut together for the post-credits scene with Michael Keaton. They use the rest of that, and they just beat up a stunt guy and make it Morbius. Last thing that they talked about at D23 which I think was the biggest letdown of the expo for Marvel fans, was they announced the director for the Fantastic Four, but they did not announce any of the cast. Matt Shakman, who directed WandaVision, is returning to the MCU to direct Fantastic Four, which I am excited for. I'm excited for, and I'm a little bit upset about.
Yeah, well, first of all, he's announced now. Who knows if he'll stick on, because we've already lost one guy that was supposed to be in there for Fantastic Four, helming it. But I loved how Kevin Feige was like, and there he is, like in the audience. We're not going to bring him up on stage because we really don't have anything else to talk about or show. But yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I am excited about it, though. I keep on saying I'm excited. I'm excited about all of this. I was like, I was let down that there wasn't like a lot of new stuff, but it is, how can you not be excited about even just the briefest of confirmations that Fantastic Four is on the way?
Yeah.
So,
my disappointment is he was set up to direct the Star Trek 4 with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto.
I know.
And now he stepped away to do this. So hopefully that film finds another director. Because I'm excited to see that, but I'm also excited to see what he does with the Fantastic Four. So,
yeah, we'll see.
That pretty much does it for D23 news from Marvel. Was there anything else at D23 that you saw that caught your eye?
Not from Marvel. I mean,
just in general.
Well, I mean, they got some cool Star Wars stuff along the way. We got a Mando official trailer, which I've been watching the non-official leak trailer on Twitter for a while. That was fun. Andor, I'm already excited for. The new trailer they showed for Andor, I didn't think was a good trailer. I didn't like the music. I didn't like it just was not structured as great as the last trailer was. So I am super stoked for Andor.
I'm stoked for Andor too. I have not seen either of the last two trailers they put out because I'm just like I'm just all in.
The last trailer, not this one, but the last one was like I don't know if that was an SDCC trailer or something, but whatever the last big trailer for, it was amazing. And I was like jaw to the floor. I can't wait for that show. They talked about Jude Law is going to be a part of a I don't know if it's a movie or a show called Skeleton Crew in the Star Wars universe.
I think it's a show.
Okay. They had trailer for Tales of the Jedi, which is a Clone Wars kind of spinoff with just different stories each episode that looked fun. Of course, Little Mermaid got. What? Go ahead.
I don't know if seeing Ahsoka at Padme's funeral is something I would call fun, but it's better than Order 66 again.
Sure. I hope those are. I enjoyed watching that trailer, but I was also like, well, these are shorts, so like, am I seeing like 3 minutes of a 5-minute short, or like what is the definition of short?
Yeah.
And so we'll see. The Little Mermaid trailer obviously made waves.
Yes.
over the weekend.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'll just say this as plainly as I can say it. Elves, dwarves, mermaids are fictional creatures. So if you are upset that they are not white, I'm guessing that's bleeding over from some stuff that you feel about real characters. But if that's what's getting you pissed off about this, then I don't know what to tell you, man. As far as the trailer was concerned, it was the bare minimum of a teaser trailer. It showed next to nothing. I don't have high hopes for this. I loved The Little Mermaid as a kid. It's one of my favorite movies. I don't have high hopes for this. It has nothing to do with, what's her name? Halle Bailey has nothing to do with her. I think she could possibly be great in this. I'm just saying that the last few live action remakes have been lackluster for me. So
Pinocchio.
I'm not incredibly excited about it, but I'm also not freaking the hell out just because a fictional creature happens to be black. That is just mind-blowing to me, but not very surprising.
When it comes to fictional characters, I don't think it shouldn't just be based on the look of the character. It should be based on talent. And I haven't seen the teaser clip. I've seen her singing part of that world, and the clip, from what I've seen of just her singing that song, I was amazed by it. Like she nails that song. So I'm really excited to see what she does with that. But, yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
How would you guys like to help us get mental health resources into schools, conventions, and other events? Well, now you can. Simply go to patreon.com/victims and villains for as little as $1 a month. You guys can help us get mental health resources into current and upcoming generations, educate and break down stigma surrounding mental health, suicide, and depression. And you get exclusive content that you can't get anywhere else. And you guys can tell us which Nicolas Cage movie you want us to cover, and we'll do it. All it takes to get started is to go to patreon.com/victims and villains, or simply click the link in the episode description wherever you guys are currently listening or streaming this episode. Pick your tier and get started today. Yes, it's that simple. So quickly select the tier that you want and help us get hope into the hands of the depressed and the suicidal today.
I just feel like that was the majority of the clip. The rest of it was just a couple brief glimpses at sea life. And what it made me feel was like, the Lion King remake, it was fine, but it wasn't anything amazing to me. Like, it felt they definitely went hard on the ultra realistic looking animals, and I feel like they're probably going to do the same thing for this with the underwater life, sea life, and everything. But that doesn't mean the movie's going to be great. I heard that we're going to have new songs in this, which is not the first time they've done that. They did that with Beauty and the Beast, and they did that with at least one other show. And I did like some of the new songs in Beauty and the Beast because they were good. There's a song that the Beast sings that reminded me of Phantom of the Opera vibes. It was just great. And so I'm not saying that it can't be good. I'm just saying I have no hopes that it'll be good, and I look forward to being proven wrong. But it is 100% not based on the color of a fictional creature. But we all knew this was coming. We've known this was coming for like 2 years. So it was just a matter of, the people waiting at bay for the trailer to be released and then pouncing on it.
And the good news is, with this coming out, Disney is running out of animated classics to turn into live action. So hope one day the trend will end.
Well, they announced Snow White right after this, so that's another live action.
Oh yeah. But they're running out. They're running out. So
until they decide to do prequels or sequels like Mufasa.
Oh yeah.
Prequel to Lion King.
Yeah.
So are they running out, or are they just running out of base films?
I really hope that the trailer that they put out for the Lion King prequel is just Whoopi Goldberg from the Lion King saying Mufasa, like it's over and over again. Because if it's not, I'm going to make that a thing that exists on the internet.
Otherwise, I just kind of I caught things as they dropped. To like the Disenchanted trailer, thought that looked fun. I don't know if were you a big fan of the Enchanted movie?
I liked it. I haven't gotten around to watching that trailer yet. I was busy all weekend when things were dropping, so I was like, I need to go through and watch all of this, and I only got through the Marvel stuff and the Mando trailer. I'm excited. I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by like why they're making these sequels for Disney Plus and not theatrical. But I'm sure there's a reason for it that will show in the films themselves. But yeah.
And hopefully the reason is not because it's on the quality level of the Pinocchio movie, because that film was just a whole pile of not great. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the new Pinocchio?
I have not. I need to go back and watch the original Pinocchio first. I've been on a Kevin.
You're just gonna feel bad.
It's been forever since I've seen it. I always liked that one as a kid. And I've been on a Kevin Smith kick lately, because of Clerks 3. So I need to, probably after this week, I'll go through and watch Pinocchio with Tom Hanks.
Well, we still have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio coming out this year as well.
Yeah.
So I guess for all the people that said the Disney one wasn't dark enough, just wait.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Del Toro will fill you in.
Oh yeah.
They talked a little bit about Avatar, which I am sure will blow Little Mermaid out of the water.
Oh yeah.
With underwater effects. I was kind of sad. I guess the only thing that I was looking for that outside of Marvel that they didn't talk about was, unless I missed it, they didn't talk about the Aliens show that's coming.
They didn't.
20th century. And I was really hoping they would, because I've seen a couple like concept pictures and I've heard some things, and I'm really interested about that. And I thought they were going to drop something for that. That or an official announcement of season 4 of The Orville, which also did not happen.
Yeah.
And so I was sad about that.
Well, I know that we talked about this before we started recording. They're making a lot of announcements for New York Comic Con, and both of the projects you just said seem like they're fit for New York Comic Con. So, because I know the Orville's been there in the past. So,
Warner Brothers Discovery has also said that they're going to be at New York Comic Con. So maybe Disney, Marvel, Hulu are kind of holding some things back. 20th Century, all of them. I mean, they're all in the same banner. Maybe they're holding some stuff back for New York, which would be cool.
Yeah, because we'll be able to hear about it on the internet and see people reacting to it as they walk by. So,
that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I think that's about all I've got. Josh, where can people find you?
You can find me at New York Comic Con in the small press section, booth 1937. In October, or you can find me online, Fierce Lit or fierceliterature.com is the website, and I'm sure my Twitter is on there and stuff like that. I'm around. You can find me here at the next time we talk about something Marvel related.
Yeah, you can also find me here next time we talk about something Marvel related. You can also find me on my show, You Have to Watch This Podcast, where each week me and my co-host make each other watch a movie one of us has never seen before. And next week, if you tune in, Josh will be joining us and having us watch The Raid 2.
Is it next week already?
Yes.
It is next week. Next Tuesday. Yeah. Yep. So have you done your homework yet? Have you watched The Raid or The Raid 2 yet?
Not yet.
You going to watch The Raid?
I am going to watch it's The Raid Redemption, right?
Well, that's the English title. Yeah, they added it on for the US, but it's just The Raid. It's The Raid if you're cool.
I'm going to watch it. I've got a lot going on this week before that, so I'm going to get to it. It might be Monday night before we record, but yes, I'm going to watch both of them. It'll be a lot of fun. You can find that my show, You Have to Watch This Podcast, on all major podcasting platforms, or follow us on Instagram, where we're doing a Disney-related giveaway of a Hocus Pocus 2 poster. So go check that out.
Cool.
Until probably a month and a half from now when She-Hulk ends, for Victims and Villains, we are your Marvel correspondents. I'm Alan.
I'm Josh.
And in the words of Dr. Fraser Crane, good mental health.